Today I'm going to talk about pay per mile insurance. There are all sorts of pay per mile programs out there for contractors, for trucking, depending on what you're at or what business you're in. So obviously, if you're watching this, most of you guys can be truckers because that's what the channel's about. The three companies that really do the pay per mile for trucking are going to be HDVI, Canal, and I've heard some rumors about Nirvana doing it somewhere. I can't really find where Nirvana will do paper mount trucking. Canal is going to be your main one. They are the one that I use. I haven't found where Nirvana is going to come into play, but they're not going to come into play much because you got to have 11 plus units. And then usually, if you're 11 plus units, you got to be a local operation to really be having the paper mount make sense. HDVI I will be working with. I chose not to quite yet because I feel as they have some work because they're a newer program. Once they get things rolling and it's a good product for the client, we'll get things going there. So right at the bat, what is pay per mile insurance? Well, pay per mile insurance is going to obviously charge you for the miles you drive. Now, it's not going to be if you park the truck for a month, you got no payment due. It is going to be your auto liability insurance that's going to be adjusted. If you guys are unfamiliar with what auto liability is, I got a video on it. Otherwise, you're typically going to have three main coverages on your policy: auto liability, which is protecting other people on the road if you get in an accident with them; physical damage, which is your truck and your trailer, whatever you got, being protected is the full coverage. Then you get cargo. So cargo, it's gonna be protected there. Auto liability is about 80% of your premium. So if you're not driving, your insurance check or insurance bill for the month is gonna be dirt cheap. Um, so that's kind of how it rolls. Your insurance is obviously gonna be different based off of every month, how much you're driving, all type of stuff. But your physical damage and cargo are gonna stay the same every single month. So what you might be wondering is, for one, how do you set up with this? We have a great relationship with our canal underwriter. We can get you a canal quote for the pay per mile. They are the main ones who do the pay per mile. If you guys are a contractor or anything else like that, you have Pouch, you have Fairmatic, you have all this type of stuff. One thing to mention is Fairmatic has also got a really good program for this stuff. They'll do the last mile delivery, so they're kind of delivery services or taxi services and contractor auto. But straight up truckers, it's going to be Canal. HDVI is going to be there. I'd say 6 months. They're going to be killer at this. That's their whole deal. And Nirvana, I don't hear. I've heard about them one time, so I wouldn't count on them. When does a pay per mile option make sense? A pay per mile option is going to make sense. Well, if you're taking trips quite a bit, so it's like you get no money coming in. Obviously, you don't want to have a big insurance bill. So this, even though it might not be cheaper for you, it helps because when the money's coming in, the money you're paying your insurance. But if the money's not coming in, your insurance bill's will be dang near nothing. The other thing is going to be how many miles you're driving a year. I see most truckers that I talk to driving 125,000 miles a year, give or take, right? The pay per mile insurance can be really good. If you're under 80,000 miles a year, it's going to save you so much money. It's going to be unreal. I had one guy, for an example here, one guy tell me he was going to be driving about 55,000 miles a year. Obviously, it's about half of what people are typically doing. It's kind of a local guy, he's a box truck, but he's in Texas too. So he was getting insurance quotes for 25 to 30,000 a year for his box truck, just getting started. My quotes for a typical program, uh, really getting things cheap was about 20,000 a year. That was saving 5 grand for the next best quote. Pay per mile insurance came in at 15,000. They shaved off another 15,000. And if he didn't have me, I already was going in there and splitting up quotes to make things way cheaper. But just Progressive, biggest player was 25,000 a year. Canal pay per mile, I want to say they're even less actually. They were probably about 14,000 a year. And then I had a gal in Minnesota did the exact same thing. Just Minnesota came with 13,000 a year. New venture. Those rates are absolutely unheard of. If you're 20,000 a year new venture, you're sitting pretty dang good. Sometimes you can go in there to split up the auto liability and physical damage. Different companies get rates down, but most agents they're gonna hand you their quote for about 25K a year. So it can be dirt cheap. Um, and then yeah, I mean the other reason would be if you're taking trips. Um, So that's what pay per mile insurance is. I have a blog on it if you guys want to find out more. How it works, how they track you. It is going to be, well, I know HDVI, you're going to pay the agent pays them. That's a big pain. Typically, you're just going to pay, it's a direct bill type of deal. Pay the insurance company. They're either going to hook up to your ELD or they are going to have a tracker in your truck. And then you'll kind of have an idea of what your bill is every month, whether they're going to send you, well, they're going to send you an invoice. And then the other thing too is you'll get pennies per mile is how they're going to rate you. So for example, the guy in Texas, I think he was like 30 cents a mile. The other guy was 16 cents a mile. Now I say that doesn't make sense. They're that close in price. I want to say one was like 80 or 90,000 a miles, and the other one was, so think about that. I think that Minnesota sidetrack here. I think that Minnesota gal was about 80,000 miles, and she was 13,000 a year. It was so much cheaper than everybody else that she said she forgot my number and she spent an hour going through and calling everybody she called that day. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's Canal Insurance that is the main one doing this right now. If you're a contractor, there are many other options out there, but for truckers, Canal's the big player. HDVI is going to be coming around here in 6 months. When they got things figured out, I'm going to have them. But yeah, how do you get a quote through Canal? Well, you can call me, you can call an agent that you like that has Canal Insurance. Canal's through brokerage, so it's not like I'm gonna be able to go online and quote them like Progressive. It's gonna take about 4 days. I'm gonna need IFTAs, I'm gonna need loss runs. Um, you're gonna have to hook up to the ELD or their software to your ELD. Um, but you're gonna have to call an agent to get a pay per mile deal rolling. Same goes for HDVI, even if you wanted them. So really, that's about pay per mile insurance. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My number, my email, everything is below. I'm Hunter with Nelson Insurance Agency. We're a trucking insurance agent here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.